Another week, another play analysis, another big showpiece of us showing you how the best teams in the Call of Duty League play, and this one was a big one. New York Subliners versus the Dallas Empire. Clayster going in against the team that had dropped him, the defending champions in Dallas, and still the 4 core members of that squad that remained. Meanwhile, New York were in a tough period. They had transitioned very late with Zuma retiring through injury and visa problems and so on, and were still trying to shape themselves into the squad that we had all hoped that Clayster would have at this point in the season. That being said, despite a slow start to the season, New York looked much improved. And actually coming into this control map that we're going to break down, New York were 2-0 up. They had won the hard point, they had won the search and destroy, and they were looking really good for taking this 3-0, and Dallas Empire needed to do everything they could to stop them. But what we're going to break down here is how New York made some fantastic plays to see out this round and break down what it is that has made them so much better as a squad. Coming into the control, both sides had a 2-win to 1-loss record in the mode, with Dallas Empire being the stronger defensive side. They had a 73% win ratio on defense. Compare that to New York's 45%, and that shows where there's quite a big gap in the sides. Meanwhile, on offense, both sides were very similar, with a 61% win ratio to the Dallas Empire, 62 win percent ratio to the New York Subliners. So it was definitely that defensive edge that Dallas had. This round here is an offensive one for the New York Subliners, defensive for Dallas Empire. So looking at the balance of all things, you would have expected Dallas to be plenty comfortable here. However, there's another variable to throw into the mix, and that is the map, which is Raid. Now, as a mode, Control is a much more defense-sided game, and that is why so many teams simply play for a round 5 defense on the life count, because at the end of the day, that's where you are likely to be put into a much easier situation. However, Raid is the most offensive map and has a 45% win ratio across the league on offense, way higher than something like a Checkmate, which only has an 18% win. So this was still a good map for New York to try and come out and be an offensively strong side and upset the Dallas's defense plans. The last thing to throw in as a factor is that this map is very Slay heavy, and this is the map out of Control where the least lives are left across all sides in the league. Purely, I think, because of the fact that there is that offensive edge. It's a very flip-flappy mode, so it's hard to get set up and simply choke the opposing team out, and instead what you get is a cap usually comes through, extending the timer, which means more gunfights, less lives, and quite frankly, just a lot more gunfights. A great one to watch as a viewer. Cutting to our featured play then, and it is straight off the rip. It is the New York Subliners on the attack, and what they do is they send all 4 players to B through that pool house and pool area, and this is an extremely unusual tactic. Now, I mention that because this immediately makes that unpredictable feeling for the Dallas Empire. Not only do they not know where they need to be because of the way this map is and how it's extremely back and forth, but they also know that the New York Subliners are more than happy to throw a few party tricks into the hat. The way New York set up for this is they send 3 straight into the point, they win an opening gunfight, and they leave Clay in top mansion, that top pool house area. By doing this, Clay can keep control of the pool steps as well as watch for any sort of flank that does come through from the spawn side, meaning that the 3 in the hill can simply keep an eye on L, kitchen, basketball, all eyes basically focusing on an area each, allowing them to have complete control over the area. They are eventually forced off of B, and this transitions us into wave 2, where the New York Subliners hit A instead. Again, referencing back to that flip-flappy mode that Control is on Raid, and the way that New York set up for this is actually brilliant. So what they do is they put 2 into the hill immediately, and then they leave Mac and Asim to watch the flank. Now, typically, a lot of people here would put a lot of pressure up through mid, but New York do a great job here recognizing that Dallas are on that B site, and they could very easily wrap around the entire map and come up through the back spawn and driveway and cause them problems there. So you get Asim and Mac, and they play further back, but in a way in which they can watch the back spawns as well as watch Zig, and it is actually seeing the Zig cross that gets the kill and protects them and means that entire back corner of the map is theirs to control. On to the third stage then of this attack, and on realizing that they've cleared out that corner of the map, Simp pushes up mid-map, gets a kill, and makes noise as if he's heading towards B. Now the reason that this is so important is because when Dallas come off of spawn, they are considering whether or not it is worth going and hitting A again, and whether or not to put some pressure towards it or give it up and go to B. The fact that the team is already moving towards B makes that decision for the Dallas Empire. They have to go and secure B. They cannot risk a body at A. It's a great heads-up play, and even though a team does not get onto B in the end, A is completely locked down. Just to emphasize a little bit more how important this play is from Simp, is that when the New York Subliners do catch the point and they disperse, they come out of the hill, typically what you would expect here is 1 or 2 players would be posted, waiting for people to come out of the hill and just cut them down, try and get a couple of lives in their favor. But the fact that Simp has forced Dallas Empire onto the other side of the map does indeed mean that New York know they're relatively safe. They can try that back jungle push. They can really try and get round Dallas because they know where they're going to be. A huge play. The New York Subliners did not end up going on to win the map, but they did take this round. And actually what I want to do is very quickly transition over to another play that came at the back end of this round. Absolutely huge, and shows just how well drilled and led this side are. How they've gone from looking completely all over the place to recognizing the huge fundamentals that are a part of Call of Duty. And when you look at that squad, yeah, sure, Simp's been around a little bit, Mac's been around a year, Diamond is a rookie. There's not a lot there apart from pointing at Clayster and saying that this man has surely molded this side now to respect the core ways the game should be played. In this clip, we're in round 3, and New York are between 6 and 8 lives up. They have a minute left on the clock, and they don't really have any progress yet onto B. During all of the chaos, there was a great opportunity actually for the New York Subliners to simply dive onto the hill, try and get a segment in, maybe a segment and a half or 2, and really try and cap the point at this moment. However, 2 players go down from the New York Subliners, and this is where you see the play kick into effect. Now, I don't know whether or not this is a shot call and communication at the time, or whether or not it was just instinct, but Simp and Diamond immediately peel off, with Diamond looking to hold round the side of that tiki area, Simp looking up the pool steps, and they just wait, allowing them to cut down anyone that's trying to flank them. They're not going to get killed and cost lives and stagger their next attack. This entire play not only allows them to get support in immediately, but secondarily, you've got to think that this could have been a moment where this balance of things was very easily flipped. I mean, you had a situation where New York are up on lives, they're up on time, they're up on so many things here. If Simp and Diamond stay on the hill, they both get killed, the lives come back closer, there's still a whole minute left until which you can get onto that hill point and capture it, and also you've lost so much in the way of positioning. It would be a much different situation to how it actually played out. Eventually the support does come through, and from here the New York Subliners can just play team deathmatch effectively. Keep touching the hill, keep stopping the clock, keep putting pressure on, force Dallas into that funnel with the remaining lives they have, and pick them off. They do just that and win the round. And that is everything for this play analysis. Again, we just wanted to show you how this team have gone from looking like a ragtag bunch of players that have never played together into a squad that seemingly have amazing chemistry all of a sudden and an understanding of the game. Again, this does take a lot of work from everyone involved, but I do want to point to their leadership in Clayster as the man who has very much so seemingly molded this squad into what could be a dangerous force coming into the season. Definitely not one to underestimate. If you did enjoy the video, guys, please do leave a thumbs up below. It is really helpful to us. We'd love to break the 20 marker, and also if you want to see more of this type of content, hit the subscription button. We intend to bring it back, as well as new projects and bigger things as we evolve and grow. We just want to thank you very much for the support you have been giving us. We're watching the sub count tick up every single week, and it is phenomenal. Also, in the comments, if you've got any plays that you'd love to suggest for us to break down, please do. We were asked around a couple during this week, and actually it came off of that we decided to focus on the New York Subliners. So please do always leave constructive feedback or suggestions if you have them. We absolutely love them, and we will take no offense, trust me. Anyway, guys, enjoy your first major, enjoy your Call of Duty, and do take care of yourselves. All the best.